Brian with ScreenFiles.com in review. What I'm looking at today is 2020's Judas and the Black Messiah, directed by Chaka King. And while growing up aware of the Black Panther Party and Fred Hampton, I never had the detail that this movie seems to present. Though that being said, something about it bothered me. It took me to read an article based on a movie from uprocks.com to finally understand what that was. Namely, the movie seems to put on equal footing the opposition to the Black Panthers, be it the FBI or the local police, on an equal footing, in a sense that Fred Hampton, the Black Messiah of the title, as the chairman of the Black Panther Party, was standing against overwhelming force of the state. And the way the movie depicted essentially things as almost a standoff was really odd and, to be totally honest, a little off-putting. Though Fred Hampton's story is not one you hear a lot about. As I said, I knew of him, but not the details, and I need to learn more, no doubt. But the problem with this is that this is not unusual by any stretch of the imagination. What is unusual is such tactics being employed in this country against political opponents. Because internationally speaking, we do this type of thing all the time. We assassinate figures that we don't like, or we pay to have them assassinated. We use sanctions against a country with the express purpose of causing the people that live there to overthrow their government. We use them to hurt people. And that's a very serious feature of American policy, and it has been for decades, and it continues to this day. Why else do you think we have sanctions against Iran, for instance, currently, which Biden, despite promising to enter back into negotiations with the Iranians, is threatening essentially to blackmail? We have a tendency in this country to excuse the actions of our own leaders done in our name, and yet we point the finger so quickly at others. So people love to talk about what Cuba is doing wrong, what Venezuela is doing wrong, and so on and so forth. Yet they never quite seem to notice what the United States does wrong, or what its proxies, such as Israel, do wrong all the time. And this is what's frustrating about this movie for me, beyond the point that I just mentioned. Namely, you know how this is going to end. Anyone that goes up against the power of the United States is considered a threat. And when you're considered a threat, certain things happen. Particularly, I should mention, if you're a person of color, which isn't to say it can't happen to white people either, but it's a heck of a lot more likely if you're a person of color, which is to say you die. You die under mysterious and murky circumstances, as Fred Hampton did in reality. As I said, I need to learn more, as in detail, about the Black Panther Party. Though Judas and the Black Messiah is a very difficult movie to watch, partially for the reasons I've already stated, though also because the movie is so well acted. Lakeith Stanfield, Daniel Kaluuya, I believe his name is pronounced, Jesse Plemons. There's so many great actors in this movie, and I don't necessarily think they bring enough light to this subject, but I guess it's good, even if it feels off and somehow inaccurate in some pretty important ways. It's good that these type of movies are released, because too many people buy into the freedom idea that the United States sells. And I use sell not by accident, because that's what it is. It's a sell. It's a con job. The United States is about a lot of things. Some of them good, some of them awful and terrible. though freedom in and of itself is a meaningless word. And anytime you hear anyone else use it, challenge them on it. Ask them, what does that mean? Because there's a lot of people who don't have that perspective with very good reason. So what do you think? This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com in review. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. And as usual, consider a like or a follow. Peace.